All right. Yay, I'm live. I'm alive. Praise the Most High. Welcome to the tap where I tell the truth. I try to tell the truth, and we tell the truth. Whoever's with me tells the truth. I try to tell the truth as much as I can. So help me, Yah. I just wanted to go over some things that are currently happening um, around the world online. And online is like the new world, right? Where everyone is connected. Um, there's just a lot going on. A lot. Uh, I don't even know where to start. Like, there's just so much happening. It's crazy. I was born and raised in the United States of America. Like most people that are probably watching right now, the US of A, where we were told and we were taught that if you work hard, you will achieve great things. But my oh my, was that a lie? That was a lie. It was a lie, right? Lies have been inherited. Lies have been inherited. You don't even want to get started on slavery, the transatlantic slave trade. That's a topic for another time. We will definitely dig deep into that. However, I would like to point out how how devastating, first of all, the state of the world is. Not just America, but the whole world is in a state of emergency as we speak. We have never lived in a revolution this generation, like a real, true revolution in this world. And boy, oh boy, does this world need a revolution. Things need to change. Things have to change. Because if they don't, the world is going to be completely destroyed. And I know that's really hard for a lot of people to accept right now, but we all live on this rock called planet Earth together. And it would be very wonderful and amazing if we could all just be on the same page just for once. I mean, I can't save the world, nor am I trying to. I'm not trying to save the world. I just want to see difference in behaviors and the ways that we treat each other on this planet. It's so brutal. We are the most brutal species on this planet. I would think that we should be called the beasts. But the beasts aren't even as fierce as the humans. That's crazy. It would be an understatement, right? Listen, the world has inherited lies. And it's not just about rich and poor. Pretty and unattractive. Republican or Democrat. Or any other rivalry besides good or righteous versus wicked. And that's what it's always been. Righteous versus wicked. The lies that are being inherited are not just by the poor. I mean, yeah, sure, you've inherited lies. But it's also for the rich. The elite rich. Not just the rich, because you can be rich. There's nothing wrong with that. But the elite rich is where we start to have imbalance in resources. We have an imbalance in the earth. Everything is it's unbalanced. There is no consequence for things that should have consequences. For instance, the ways of a certain group is why the world is in the state that it's in right now. I mean, can't people see that? Don't people understand that no matter what you do, no matter what you think you can do, nothing is going to change unless we figure out a way to work together. And it's as simple as that. Because if you're going to get angry and you don't want to hear the message about how we're all on this planet together because we want to fight about petty things, we want to fight about black and white. Everyone is going to be and is currently being affected by the decisions of a few. And so you can imagine how many more are out there that we don't know about, that don't suffer any consequences because there's a system that's been put in place to protect this type of behavior. It's really sickening. It's like, when are we going to change? When are we going to actually wake up, look up, and put our hands up? All of us, we need help. This earth needs help. And if you want to sit around and act like, oh, well, I've got my things and it doesn't affect me, I'm going to need you to think again, because, sweetheart, you've never truly left the planet. You've probably gone as high as a satellite, I'm sure. But, sweetheart, you've never really left this big old rock like you think. You don't know what's truly out there. So, guess what? Unless you're going to dig an underground grave, I'm sorry, bunker for yourself, I suggest you just be quiet. Honestly, the world is crying out. You hear the world crying out. You sit up on your throne that others have decked out and decorated for you, and you just act so oblivious and, oh, aloof, because you don't understand what it's like to not have the things that you have, right? You personally, because it's been passed down to you generation after generation after generation. And it just never crossed your mind to maybe share, because I see others who are dying and, uh, not waking up from long sleep, right? Because we can't say that actual word, right? Not on YouTube, right? So you don't feel like you should have any responsibility or accountability in any of this, because, well, I didn't do it to you, and I've surely never been down there with people like you, so I could never understand. Sorry. Oh, I mean, I guess you all have the luxury of saying that, because we sure as hell could never understand what it's like to have all of your needs met. You know, Maslow's hierarchy. A lot of people don't even know what it's like to own a home. But that was the American dream, right? So when I say that this place has inherited lies, I mean everyone, everyone, this whole earth has inherited lies. This is why the majority of people are still shackled up in slavery. Because you inherited lies. This is why there are people that are going to go into slavery, rich or poor, because you have inherited lies. Like when you really think about this matrix that we live in, because most people don't like to think about it. Most people just like to go on their day, you know, uh, I'm just going to go on about my day and not have to worry about the fact that uh, we live in a system that's just not natural. We live in a system that is artificial. I mean, come on. I'm talking through artificial intelligence right now. It's crazy. Like everything is artificial. And we are still just walking around knowing that we are not artificial. We actually feel. We feel. So it's not right to continue going on this way. It's not right. It's not right. If you are a human being, you understand why you have to cope, why you have to self medicate, why you have to do these things, no matter who you are. You have to do these things because you feel. You actually feel. Isn't that something? But here we are. We're constantly just on the go, not stopping to think. None of us. Not stop. The president, come on. The president is not stopping to think. Come on, guys. Seriously? The president of the United States of America is not even stopping to think. And this is a so-called billionaire. Come on now. We're not truly trying to elevate. We're not trying to elevate. We're sitting here foffowing because a certain group of white people, as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to say all white people just because, you know, I don't usually bite my tongue. I don't like to bite my tongue. I it's hard to say all white people when I try to tell the truth as much as possible, but it's so hard in this case because it's just like white people have never gone out in mass to defend black people solo, ever. Never. BLM, Black Lives Matter, was all inclusive, and everyone knows that they were all inclusive. Okay. I don't have to explain that to you how BLM was all inclusive and is all inclusive. Uh, we as Black people have always had to be all inclusive. Okay. But it's hard to not say all white people in this instance because you're just notorious for horrible ass shit. Like, I mean, can we just be real today? Listen, I can see both sides. And that's why sometimes it's hard for me. I can see both sides because I'm balanced. I'm balanced. And a lot of people just seem to be unbalanced these days. Black people, I know we're known for horrible shit too, but we've always been known for horrible shit, and we've always been highlighted as the horrible shit makers, right? We've always been labeled as that. We've always been stigmatized, stereotyped. We've always been called bywords. Always. This is nothing new to us. We've always been a proverb and a byword because, well, that's a topic for a whole nother day. But yeah, us as Black people, we have to learn to respect. We have to learn to respect. And I mean, when I say respect, I'm not talking about everybody else. I'm talking about each other. I'm talking about our maker. That's what I'm talking about. We got to learn respect. All right. But as far as, since I'm going off topic, I digress. Um, as far as white people, though, as far as y'all go, like y'all have always, 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 always been the bane of another man's existence. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Always. And, you know, for those of you who say you want to make a change, good for you. You know, good for you. Um, you need to talk to your people. You do. You need to talk to your people, and you need to leave everyone else alone. You do. Um, everybody is, tired of the bullshit. I believe. I believe at this point, everyone is tired of the bullshit, and I'm just not scared to say it. I'm just not scared to say it. Somebody needs to say it. We are all sick of the bullshit. We are. And like I said before, of course, you're going to have evil and you're going to have righteous in many different nations. But when it comes to world destruction, world corruption, whew, world annihilation, man, just take a look at the Caucasian. I didn't make the world, I was just born into it. I can say that. You know why? Because my people are not the ones wreaking havoc over all of the nations of the world. We're not. We're not. So you don't have the luxury of saying that. You just don't. You don't. Um, Let me see how much time just passed. All right, almost at 30 minutes. It has been, you know what? I didn't even watch the swearing, the ceremony for the U.S. president because it's just like, why waste your time? You know what I mean? Why waste the time? Why? We already know. We already know. We have been in America for 400 plus years. So we already know as a people, my people, the Israelites, we already know black people who went through the transatlantic slave trade. We already know what this is. We already know what's going on in the US. We already know. Hold on one moment. But yeah, it has been 400 plus years we have been in this country. Um, Man, oh man, oh man. Whoo wee. I just, I always wondered why. I always wondered why. So many things. Why? And then all of my prayers were answered. Everything that I asked for was answered. That's how powerful the Most High Yah is. And this is why I will never give up my spirituality, my faith, my beliefs. What you choose to do, I don't care who you are, whoever's listening right now, whatever you choose to do was what you chose. I'm not here to change anybody at all. At all. Because I can't. And that's what I had to learn a long time ago. I cannot change anyone. but myself. And when I decided to change myself, is when a true awakening happened in me, just like all the rest of my brothers and sisters who have the same faith and spiritual beliefs. We are woke. We woke. I am just so grateful. I'm so grateful because even though this is going to be a scary event that's about to take place, and everyone around the world is watching to see what happens to the US, I and the rest of my people are getting our households in order. That's what we doing. Okay? We getting in order, baby. Because we already know it is really like game over. Like seriously, like game over. And in this game, I'm afraid you only got one life. Sucks, doesn't it? mm, mm, mm. Hoo-wee. I mean, it would be wonderful and amazing, like I said before, if, people would just, work on themselves and work together and all of those things. That would be nice. But if that's not a possibility, what do you think is going to happen? You don't even know what you were made for. Most people. You don't understand what you were made for. You don't understand. We're all in this trying to find our way on this journey. And it's like not many of us really care. And that's the problem. How can you elevate with so much dead weight? It's time for a higher awakening and a rising to take place. And who would want to stop such a thing unless they're evil? Mm, 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 mm. Ooh, we. So, we could all be unalive together because that's literally like what it's gonna come down to. Like the whole effing world is gonna be like, I don't know, Satan missiled. I'm trying to speak in code, and and then you're gonna get missiles going from here and there and everywhere, you know, getting nuked. Can I say nuked? Can we even say nuked on here? Anyways, I'm gonna say it. It's just like, wow, we can all get unalive together, right? Or we can actually try to better um, human relations all around the world. But I mean, some people are, you know, kamikaze out here, So they don't really care. They're like, oh, if I'm gonna go, everyone's gonna go with me. Which I can understand that too. I can. But you gotta have some self control. Anyways, uh, yeah, it's really, it's really crazy out here. Really, really crazy. A lot of, catastrophic events occurring, crime rates skyrocketing, bad news dropping everywhere you turn. It's like, what the fuck is going on out here? It's really crazy. Really, really crazy. Uh, we already know, like I said, it's the Most High. The Most High, the Creator. If you, like, just picture this, like, if you built something, right? You built something and um, you had uh, someone else watch this project that you're working on, right? They're watching this project for you, like project sitting, right? And when you come back, because you had to go take care of some business, right? Because you're working on the project, you might have been going to get some more stuff for the project to make the project even better, right? Who knows, right? But then you come back and your project is totally destroyed. They're- it, it's just destroyed, right? What would you be thinking in that moment? No, the person that you had watch your project is still there. They're still there, standing next to your now destroyed project. And they're not even looking at you. They're still down there doing damage. They're still, cutting little pieces of it and burning it and doing all types of stuff to it, and you're looking right at them destroy your project, right? What would you be thinking at that moment? And we can't even get on that level as to how a creator would think, but just to the best of our abilities, this is the best analogy. You made a project, right? This person destroys it. They're still destroying it in your face when you come back. You got supplies, whatever the case, whatever you went to go do, you would want to kill that person too. I'm just saying, oh, I'm sorry, unalive. You would want to unalive that person too, right? Wouldn't you? Especially if it's a big project that you've been working on for a long time and you put so much work into it, to have this person that you put over it, in charge of it, to destroy it. And not for any good reason, just because they were bored. They were bored, there was nothing else to do. You were taking forever to come back. And so, I got a little carried away. I didn't even think about what I was doing. I was just doing it. And now you're back. This is what we're like going through right now, right? It's crazy. It is crazy. So, yeah, a wrath. There will be a wrath to suffer for the consequences of our actions. And we should have just been more responsible, right? That's all. It's crazy. So now that we are at the end of this destruction, I should say the beginning of the end of this destruction, we want to fight. We want to fight. We want to panic. We want to panic. We want to do everything, but there's a small group. There's a small group, don't know where they're at. They're somewhere right now. But there's a small group, my people, especially, I should say, that actually wants to fix the mess that was made, or clean the mess that was made, and fix what's been broken. Just a small group, very, very small group. We cannot fix it and we can't clean it because, well, too many are in the way. Too many are in the way. Why would I go out and try to fix something, right? And as soon as I go to connect the pieces and glue and hem and stitch, build and plant, right? As the word would say, just to have it all messed up again by one of the ones in the way. Why? Why even waste their time? Why would anyone waste their time? Why? We only have so much time in a day. We only have so much time in a second. We only have so much time in a week, a month, a year, a minute, an hour. We only have so much time. And we only have one life, as far as we know. And we only have, well, we have several chances, a lot of us, honestly. We have several chances. But you only have one life. And I guess that's why people, do the things they do, because they kind of like overinflate the time that they really have. And I guess it's because they just have chance after chance and after chance after chance and no consequence. So they figure, oh, well, I've got forever. When in reality, you only have one life. And no one that we know of can come back in this generation that we have seen just yet and tell us what it's like to die and then miraculously come back to life. And I'm not talking about, you're laying on a hospital bed and, they've got the defibrillators and they're bringing you back from a flat line, like they show in the movies and all that. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being dead for, let's say you've been dead for even weeks, months, years, and then you miraculously come back to life. Like, no, none of us have actually, and that we know of, right? That I know of, I've never actually encountered someone in the flesh like that, right? I don't know what you guys see when you're talking to demons and all the stuff that you claim you're talking to, but I'm talking about coming back as that human being from the grave, like Alicia, for instance. And Alicia actually never died. Alicia went straight up to heaven. Um, but the boy that Alicia brought back to life, or was it Elisha? I gotta look it up. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, that was Elisha in Second Kings 4:18 through 37. Yeah, that was Elisha. So yeah, so the boy had already been dead in the story, right? Before uh, Elisha even showed up. But Elisha was a prophet, right? And he told the woman with the boy, um, what to do according to the laws of Yah. And let me just read it, because there were signs in that, and I don't want to misquote or anything like that. Um, he told her what to do with some grains and stuff, I believe it was. So let's go to Second Kings 4 and 18 through 37. All right. All right. So now that we've got Second Kings 4, 18 through 37, we're going to go ahead and read that. I just got interrupted. All right. So let's go ahead and read that. Um, verse 18, it says, "And when the child was grown, it fell on a day that he went out to his father to the reapers. And he said unto his father, My head, my head. And he said to a lad, Carry him to his mother. And when he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he sat on her knees till noon and then died. Crazy. Imagine being a mother and like your child, right, is coming to you just feeling all types of messed up, head hurting and all that, and you don't know what to do about it. You're poor, just kind of like what's happening now, right? You're poor, you don't have health insurance, you don't have any money, you don't have any food. You're poor. And your child comes up to you with an illness. And I don't want to hear anything about, oh, well, you shouldn't have had kids. That's not what this is about. Children are beautiful. And in a normal world, we should be able to have children. In a normal world, this world is not normal. So I understand why a lot of people, I'm segueing again, but I just have to make this point. I understand why a lot of people say, well, you know what? I refuse to have children. I'm going to be child free. I think that's great because we don't need to bring more victims into the world for these predators. However, when it comes to people that are out here and they're struggling and they're going through, you have some wicked people out here making comments like you shouldn't have had kids, like as if you know that person's situation. They could have been taken advantage of. You really don't know. Just to assume, and I have to assume people that make comments like that are predators themselves, and you're not fooling anyone. And so it's just like, imagine your child, your precious little baby that you gave birth to, comes up to you, and there's nothing you can do about it. They're feeling ill. They sit down on your knees, they sit on your lap for hours, possibly. It says till noon. And then die. It fell on a day, so I'm assuming it happened in the morning time. And then the child sat on the mom's lap till noon. She didn't even know, he's probably sweating and everything, and died in her lap. Do you know how painful that is? Like, I can only imagine that's what my ancestors had to go through on the plantations as well. But anyways, in verse 21 it says, And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of God, and shut the door upon him, and went out. And she called unto her husband and said, Send me, I beg you, one of the young men and one of the donkeys, that I may run to the man of God and come again. So back then, when we were closer to God, because of course the ancients were closer to God because they were just created. But back in those days, we had like healers, spiritual healers, like real spiritual healers. Even the poor. We had spiritual healers. That's like magic. Like Disney Channel type stuff. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. We had real healers. And it's like exactly what they program you to think about and imagine as a kid. Magic, magical, miraculous, Ooh, magic. As if it's something that's like unattainable. But it's not unattainable because magic has been keeping us as a whole asleep all this time. And I know for sure it's been keeping my people asleep all this time. So it's not something that we should be afraid of. It's not something that we should disregard and say it's not real. That's just what kids believe in and things like. No, magic is real. And when we say magic, we're not talking about worshiping idols. We're talking about being in alignment with what and who created you. And if you're not in alignment with that, you have nothing to hold on to when the earth is destroyed. Doesn't that make sense? You have to be in alignment. If you're not in alignment, what are you going to do except die? What are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. It does not make sense for us to continue this path of destruction. But again, I know I'm probably wasting my breath, and more than likely, I'm wasting my breath on a lot of people who just refuse to listen. And that's okay. It's just fine. But I'm going to tell the truth no matter who likes it. So, okay, my computer. Okay. But, anyways, um, magic is real. It is absolutely real. And it's holy and it's righteous when it comes from the source. I promise you that. But let's continue with this story. And he said in verse 23, "Wherefore will you go to him today? It is neither new moon, or it is neither new moon nor Sabbath." And she said, "It shall be well." Then she saddled an ass and said to her servant, "Drive and go forward. Slack not your riding for me, except I bid thee." So she went and came unto the man of God to Mount Carmel. And it came to pass, when the man of God saw her afar off, that he said to Gehazi his servant, "Behold, yonder is that Shunammite. Hmm. Run now, I beg thee, I beg you, to meet her, and say unto her, Is it well with you? Is it well with your husband? Is it well with your child?" And she answered, "It is well." And when she came to the man of God to the hill, she caught him by the feet. But Gehazi came near to thrust her away. And the man of God said, "Let her alone, for her soul is vexed within her. And the Lord has hid it from me, and hath not told me." Then she said, "Did I desire a son of my master? Did I not say, 'Do not deceive me'?" Then he said to Gehazi, "Gird up your loins and take my staff in your hand and go your way. If you meet any man, salute him not, and if any salute you, answer him not again, and lay my staff upon the face of the child." And the mother of the child said, "As the Lord lives, and as your soul lives, I will not leave you." And he arose and followed her. And Gehazi passed on before them and laid the staff upon the face of the child. But there was neither voice nor hearing. Wherefore he went again to meet him and told him, saying, "The child is not awaked." And when Elisha was come into the house, behold, the child was dead and laid upon his bed. He went in, therefore, and shut the door upon them twain, and prayed unto the Most High. And he went up and lay upon the child, and put his mouth upon his mouth, and his eyes upon his eyes, and his hands upon his hands, and stretched himself upon the child. And the flesh of the child waxed warm. Then he returned and walked in the house to and fro, and went up and stretched himself upon him. And the child sneezed 7 times, and the child opened his eyes. And he called Gehazi and said, "Call this Shunammite." So he called her. And when she was come in unto him, he said, "Take up your son." Then she went in and fell at his feet, and bowed herself to the ground, and took up her son, and went out. Now, that was complete magic. That was complete magic. You cannot tell me something that miraculous was not magic. True magic. You have to understand what we as humans are capable of, that a lot don't want you to know. And it's a shame. It's a pity. It's sad, because they just don't want you to know for their own benefit, so they can continue reaping all of the rewards of your gatherings. That's it. And it's really sad and selfish, because you know better. Like, you know better. Seriously. We are all adults, and we all have sinned. Let me say that. We've all sinned, including me. We're all sinners. We've all done something that wasn't lawful, that wasn't right. No one can say that they've walked upon this earth and just, "Oh, I didn't sin. I sin not. I sin not. I sin." Not that we know of. I don't know anybody like that. I don't. I don't. I don't know anybody like that. And I can't even say if you were a robot, you haven't sinned. Because I heard some of these robots were off the chain. Kind of wild. I heard talking about they don't believe in God and they want to destroy humanity. And I know they were programmed by man, but dang, tone it down. But it makes sense because everything that man puts their hands on, it usually gets destroyed. And it's usually very destructive. And that's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we live in a society where you can't even talk about the evils without being persecuted. You can't talk about the evils without being persecuted. That's a problem because it's affecting everyone and everything, every living creature. It's a problem. And until we all as individuals um, turn around and take accountability for our part in the fall of the earth, it will just continue to spiral out of control and it will fall and it will never rise again. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me read that Isaiah 24. Let me read Isaiah 24 because I absolutely love that chapter. I love that chapter. Isaiah 24. Let's go. So here we go. First one. Behold, the Creator makes the earth empty and makes it waste and turns it upside down and scattered abroad the inhabitants thereof. So you can't even say that the Most High has even done these things yet. I mean, we can feel it happening. The earth is really rumbling right now, but I mean, and it's unstable, right? But um, we can't even really say that this verse has happened yet because we're still living here on this planet and the earth has not been made complete waste yet. Like when something is made waste, you'll know it, you'll see it. You will know it, you will see it, I promise you, you will see it. Nothing but desert and just desolate waste, smoke, fumes, pollution in the air, and dead, dead things everywhere. That's waste. We're not just talking about, oh yeah, your waste, your trash that you threw outside, your McDonald's cup. Oh, that's waste. No, that's waste from man. We're talking about waste from the Creator. Two different things. Waste, like, oh man, like dead bodies all over. And turns it upside down. Upside down. You don't even know what that feels like yet. You don't even know what that feels like to be turned upside down. The Earth is already like wobbling on the axis, isn't it? Let's see. Eye in the sky. Eye in the sky. Earth wobble wreaks havoc on astronomers. Consequence, the direction of Earth's axis slowly wobbles in space, making a complete circle once every 26,000 years or so. And that circle is 47 degrees across, centered on the point in the sky, 90 degrees from the plane of its orbit. And it's like shifting, right? Hmm. Wow. Vast. Okay. In the last 20 years, the Earth's axis has shifted by more than 30 inches, with scientists now attributing such a change to the vast quantity of groundwater humans have been pumping out of the ground. Oh, fascinating. Okay. Um, yeah, the Earth is just not steady right now. It's not. And this happens, they say, every 26,000 years. They like to try to put, yeah, I don't want to get into that. That's a topic for a whole nother video. Um, so, anyways, uh, and turneth it upside down. The scatters abroad the inhabitants thereof. So, when when the earth turns upside down, everyone, I just want you to know it's not my fault if I bump into you. It was an accident. Okay. It was an accident. Wow. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest. Wow. As with the people, so with the priest. Okay. As with the servant, so with his master. Oh, oh. As with the maid, so with her mistress. Oh. As with the buyer, so with the seller. As with the lender, so with the borrower. As with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Creator has spoken this word. And you can choose to believe that or not. It's totally up to you. I'm not trying to force anything on anyone, whether you're uncomfortable or not. I'm really not. I'm just here to spread the truth. You know, I just want to tell the truth. That's it. I just want to tell the truth. Can I tell the truth? Can somebody tell the truth? Is it okay if I can tell the truth? Okay. Thank you. Verse 4. The earth mourns and fades away. The world languishes and fades away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. That's suffering, guys. Withering away, perishing, dying. Come on, guys. Is this really what a lot of us seem to want? Sure, who am I to try to change your mind? The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. That's magic. That everlasting covenant that was broken, that's magic. We've transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance. It started with us, the melanated people, the melanated servants of the Creator. It started with us transgressing the laws, changing the ordinance, because we wanted to be like the heathens. We wanted to have a king over us that was a man. We wanted to worship idols that we built. We wanted to do these things just like those other nations who were not servants of the Creator, who didn't have this close relationship with the source. We have a close relationship with the Creator, with the source, if we really take it seriously. Like, we have the source. How much more powerful does it get than that? It doesn't, because all the power that's gained in this artificial system is an illusion. It's just an image, but it's not true power. Because true power comes from the source. True power comes from the source. And I can say it again for those in the back. True power comes from the source. And there's no way that we're ever going to gain true power if we continue going down this destructive path. This is just for those of us who want to hear. Because if you don't want to hear it, you need to. But if you don't, you can choose not to. We have many choices in life. Many, many choices. Wanting to hear and acknowledge and accept the truth is one of those choices. And we have to look at ourselves and say, well, I have contributed. I have contributed to what is about to happen on this earth. And I have to take accountability for my own actions, not point the finger at someone else for the things that I decided to do in my life. Whether I believe I was always right or wrong, you still have to take accountability. You can't escape it because it's in your face. It's kind of obvious when death is staring you in the face. Your earth depends on it, right? So, verse 5, the earth also is defiled. I read that part. Verse 6, therefore has the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore, the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. That sounds like a prophecy to me. Hmm. Sounds like a prophecy. I mean, does it sound like a prophecy to anyone in here? It sounds like a prophecy to me, right? Yeah. Moving on. The new wine mourns, the vine languishes, all the merry hearted do sigh. No wine, no vine, all sighs. Verse 8. The mirth of tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. Oh, no mirth, no noise, no joy. Wow. Can you imagine a world? Can you imagine a world? Because the world is just so noisy right now. I don't know if you noticed. I guess we all just kind of take it for granted because it's still so noisy. It's still talking. Everybody's talking. And you hear all the sirens down the street, all the horns and the loud music, and just all the noise. All the noise. It's so noisy in the world. You can't get the noise out of your head enough to go to sleep because it gives you insomnia. Because you can't turn off the noise, whether it's on the news at work, at school, it doesn't matter. It's so noisy. Man. Well, I couldn't imagine a world where there's no noise, no music, no sounds of joy. Shoot, heck, it didn't say that there weren't any sounds of fighting. Definitely no joy. Rejoice endeth. That's deep. I can't even imagine living in a world that just sounds so depressing. That sounds so depressing. Heck, it sounds like everyone is dead. That's what it sounds like. You know? Verse 9. They shall not drink wine with a song. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. Wow. We're going to be making moonshine, people? We're making moonshine now? Is that what's going on? Because we can't get our favorite wines and stuff and don't even have any freaking beer. So now we gotta go in the back with a boot, Jimmy's boot, and make moonshine out of what? Cacti? Or wait, cactuses? Come on. Seriously. Because I see that's definitely getting ready to take place. I don't know if y'all see it, but I see it. I see it. I think a lot of us can see it. A lot of us woke enough. A lot of us is woke enough to see it now. I think so. What y'all think? Hmm. Right. So Verse 10. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. Every house is shut up. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets. A crying for wine. I can't get my wine. I can't get my drugs. I can't get my drinks. I can't get my vices. I can't cope. I can't deal with this. Oh my gosh, I'm falling apart. This anxiety, this stress, this depression. Ah! Right? A lot of remnants of these things are already happening right now as we speak. Are they not? All right. Verse 11. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. In the city is left desolation. That sounds like World War Z, a silent place or a quiet place. Mad Max, Book of Eli. It's giving those vibes, right? It's giving those vibes. It is truly surreal. That's the best word that I can use for this scenario. It's surreal. Desolation. It's like they tell you every time before you're told or before you see it. I mean, you're given these subliminal messages all your life growing up, and you never really consider these things. I know I never considered them. My parents never considered them. My grandparents never considered them. It's a new thing to actually. It's a new phenomena to actually consider the programming, to consider the matrix, to consider the conspiracy theories, and actually ponder if they're real. Wow. Verse 13. When thus it shall be in the midst of the land among the people, there shall be as the shaking of an olive tree, and as the gleaning grapes when the vintage is done. There shall be as the shaking of an olive tree, and as the gleaning grapes when the vintage is done. It sounds like just bare branches everywhere. Bare branches. Where are you going to get food from? Where? Where is the food going to be? And then if you can't grow anything, the food that you have, that's why you're trying to grow stuff in the laboratory, because you already know that there's not going to be enough space, and there's not going to be a place for you to plant your seeds. The soil would be corroded. It will be corroded. There will be bodies buried everywhere, and mostly not buried. Mostly above ground, just death and destruction. It's just overwhelming sometimes when you think about it, but at the same time, it's like it makes a lot of sense. Especially when you look at how we live today. And when you think about how we live, and when you live how we live, it's crazy. So, verse 14 says, "They shall lift up their voice, they shall sing for the majesty of the Creator. They shall cry aloud from the sea." Is this what it's going to take for people to actually like turn upward and try and gain a connection with the source? Is this what it's going to take? It's going to have to take complete, utter destruction, disaster. Just that can't, well, it's prophecy. That's what it's going to have to take. It's very sad, but it's not surprising. Verse 15, "Wherefore glorify ye the Creator in the fires, even the name of the Most High Yah of Israel in the isles of the sea." Can you imagine thinking that there is no hell? There is no hell when you're living in it. Can you imagine thinking that? That is crazy. Can you imagine thinking, oh, well, there is no heaven when you're nowhere near there? Very interesting. So, how can you just assume that there is no repercussions for your evil actions? How could you even begin to think that or assume that? You look at what happened to Tulsa, Oklahoma. You see that. Everyone has seen that. And so many other Black metropolises that have been born throughout the world, and how they have all been crushed. You look at the empire You look at every empire, all the empires around the world, and yes, they all fall. They all fall eventually. But the difference is with our people, black people of this transatlantic slave trade, this captivity. Wherever we go, whenever we attempt to build our own empire, it gets crushed. It gets crushed, burned, set ablaze. And nobody has had to pay for what was done to us except us. No one's had to pay for what was done to us except us. I want you to really take a moment to just soak that in. Nobody has had to pay for what has happened to us except us. We have been going through this oppression. We have been going through this destruction. And not just by the hands of others, but by the hands of our own, at the hands of our own people. And no one stops to consider or think, maybe, just maybe, something isn't right. Maybe something isn't right in this world. Maybe something's not right. Maybe something's not right. Maybe something is very wrong. And just because nobody wants to talk about it, just because everyone wants to turn their head and ignore it and go la 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 la, does not mean that it's not happening. It's still happening. It's still happening. We are still suffering as a people. We are still struggling. We are still fighting. We are still unaliving each other. We're still killing each other. We are still harming each other, taking advantage of each other, robbing each other, scamming each other. We are still doing these things to each other. And the world hadn't bat an eyelid. They haven't bat an eye. They sit there and they watch us from afar and they say, oh, that's those people again. Anyways, so what were we doing? Business as usual, right? People want to talk about mental health now. People want to talk about uh, the cost of living. People want to talk about our children not having all their needs met. People want to talk about all of these issues when All of these issues that we're naming today have been set on a certain group of people all around the world, a certain group, while everyone else was higher than this group. Let me put it that way, higher than this group. You can't say, oh, well, I had it hard too. Our people were this, they were slaves, they were that, they were that, da 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 da, right? But your people still have a nation. They still have a nation. They can still trade globally, internationally, right? They can still lend, right? After borrowing, they can lend, right? Depending on if you're an immigrant that came over here. But we just have never been um, blessed with that opportunity, right? We've never been blessed with that because we were constantly being cursed, right? By everyone in the world, not just a curse from a source, but a curse from the world, from everyone else. Not just the curses of Deuteronomy 28. Not just the curses put on us by our Creator, but the curses that the Creator said would be put on us because we decided to turn to the other nations. That was a choice. That was a choice. It was. We have to take accountability as well. It was a choice. It was a choice for us, just like it's always been a choice for them. There's always been choices. There've always been choices. So you can't, really sit there and act like all of these things that you're going through now, world, white people, especially, um, have not already run its course on us. That curse has run its course on us, our people. And now that you're feeling those curses, you're starting to feel them, and it's starting to feel burning hot, just like Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? Starting to feel burning hot, like California, burning hot, right? It's starting to feel hot, very hot. And in the winters, it gets very cold. You're starting to feel the consequences of your actions. That's what we're all starting to feel, consequences of our actions, right? Consequences of our actions. And it's not uh like they try to make it seem like consequence is this little, you know, you do something that, others might not agree with, there will be a consequence. No, 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 no. That's not what a consequence is. A consequence is something that you have to tolerate and accept because of your lack of morality, your lack of consideration, your lack of righteousness. That's a consequence. Okay. And so we can't be surprised at the latter end of this earth and how it's going out. with a bang, just like you always wanted, a big bang. I think the Big Bang Theory just might come to life. I think that the Big Bang Theory might come into fruition. I think so. I think so. I think you might have had a point. I think that your theory was validated. I think so. There will be a Big Bang after all, won't there? Because we just can't seem to get it together. We have a couple of more or a few more verses, and then I will be starting to wrap up the live. Um, but let's continue. Let's continue. All right, let's continue. After the fires, that's right, in verse 15, wherefore glorify you, the Most High, the Creator, in the fires. In the fires. Are we glorifying the Most High in the fires over in California? Are we? Or are we mocking God at the Golden Globes or the Grammys? I don't know, whatever the hell you call it. Are we mocking God, or are we uh, glorifying who created all of us? And then you wonder why these things happen. You wonder why these things happen. Well, well, let's keep on going. Hold on one moment. Mm. Okay. In verse 16, it says, from the uttermost part of the earth have we heard songs, even glory to the righteous. But I said, my leanness, woe unto me. The treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Yeah, the treacherous dealers have dealt very treacherously. Hmm. Is this not what is happening right now in current events? Why must we avoid the truth? So many people want to avoid what's happening, but you have to face reality at some point, right? At some point, we all have to face reality, right? From the uttermost part of the earth have we heard songs, even glory to the righteous. But I said, my leanness, my leanness, woe unto me. The treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Yeah, the treacherous dealers have dealt very treacherously. That means it's worse now more than it's ever been. Worse now than it's ever been. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon thee. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon thee. O inhabitant of the earth. Ooh, fear everywhere. The pit, traps upon you, O inhabitant of the earth. It's not going to be a place to hide pretty soon. And it shall come to pass that he who flees from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit. And he that comes up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. That's not a lie. The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. So just because you think that you're going to build yourself a bunker and you're going to do something that the other people can't afford to do or they haven't thought about, yeah, I'm going to build a bunker and get away from this. When you come up out of the midst of the pit, think about the snares. Think about that. Just think about it. Verse 20. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage. And the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard. Wobbly, 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 wobble, and shall be removed like a cottage. And the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Most High shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in prison. And after many days shall they be visited. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Most High of hosts, the Creator of hosts, shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously. Alleluia. Look, I don't know about y'all, but I can't see I can't see living in a world like that. I can't I can't imagine you would live, that you would survive. I can't even imagine. It just doesn't sound survivable. Oh man. Life is something. I tell you, life is something. Hold on one moment. Oops. trying to figure out if I can. If I can sign in. To, hold on one moment. Oh, excuse me. That burp just came out. Sometimes you gotta burp, right? Okay, what's this? This is. Let me go ahead and mute myself in case I burp again. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. So yeah, uh, like I was saying before, when I first started the life, they have inherited lies. They have inherited lies. The whole world, everyone, including myself. I've also inherited lies. You know, and to touch on the subject of race, we're talking about white people in particular, Europeans in particular. They have inherited lies. They've inherited lies. They told you just because just because you're white, and just because you're white and you think that you're going to automatically be successful in this game called the system, the game system. You think that you're going to automatically be successful because of the color of your skin. They really have you bamboozled to believe such a lie. Because here you are looking at how you've been duped, tricked, scammed. You fell for the lies. You've inherited those lies. They told you just because you're a man, you can have anything you want. Anything. Anything I want. They told you that as a woman, oh yeah, just find a man, any man, and your life will be set. Your life will be okay. So don't even get me started on being a white man and a white woman and a white man. Don't even get me started on that. You walk around with your head high, thinking that there is no one above you and there's no one who can beat you, there's no one who can defeat you. It's tiring. It's tiring. It really is. When we have to fight you and then we have to turn around and fight each other. It gets very tiring. And we have to we turn around and feel like we have to fight each other because of you. We feel like we have to fight each other because of you, because of your standard, your European standards that are pretty much non existent. And I'm not saying that black people, as a people, we didn't end up in this because of our own actions, because we certainly are guilty of our own sins. I'm saying what got us to this point where we are just the lowest of the low as a people, the lowest of the low. And we feel like we have to uh, fight and quarrel with each other instead of just coming together. We don't feel like we have any power to come together. So we use our power against each other. And it's more like if you can't beat them, join them type of mindset. Well, you can't beat the heathen, so we're going to join the heathens. We're going to join all the other nations instead of trying to build our own. Instead of trying to build our own. And that is really sad. And why the men in our communities have to beat down on the women so much when you already know you're at the bottom. You're at the bottom already. So any place that you put her is going to be in the grave if you go any lower. Any place you put your brother is going to be in the grave if you go any lower. You already know that because you're already down. So instead of helping each other to get back up, right, which would be logical, that would be the logical thing to do. Instead of helping each other get back up, here we are pushing each other down into the ground like a corn song. Beating me down, down into the ground. We're bringing each other down in the ground, man. Down into the ground, the grave. And it's not the first time that this has happened. I mean, we've always had problems. It's not the first time our people have fought. It's not the first time. I mean, before we came into this, we entered into this 400 plus year captivity, we had been fighting. We had been not getting along. And now that we're here, the difference is we weren't completely at the bottom yet. And now that we're here, we are the lowest people on earth as a whole because we don't own anything. We don't have any place to call our own home. We don't have uh, a nation unless you want to claim someone else's nation, integrate with that nation, and become a part of that nation. Our people, as a whole, we over here, we don't have a nation. We don't have one of our own. Every other place, every other immigrant that comes to this country has a home country. They have a country that they're native to. They have a nation somewhere on the globe that they can go back home to, whether they were born in America or not, depending on their generations. And we are the only ones. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, so I'm back. We're the only ones who don't have uh, a government and our own laws that we go by. We go by currently another nation's laws, another man's laws, laws made up by another man who actually stole from our law, but that's another topic for another day. Hmm. I look at the current state of events, and I'm um, state of affairs. I'm getting ready to wrap all this up, and I just wanted to touch on. I just wanted to talk about uh, some of the reasons why um, white people have inherited lies, and why the world has also inherited lies. Why we have inherited lies, all of us, and how we can take accountability for the things that we've done personally to contribute to the fall of society. All of us have. Even if you say you've just been complacent and done nothing, like all of us are guilty of just allowing evil to flourish. We're all guilty of that. Because look at what's happening in this world right now. Look what's happening on earth. The earth is also our responsibility. I know, sometimes they make it feel like we're just cattle. We're just chattel, slavery, and we really have no power, and there's nothing that we can do to save uh, at least ourselves. At least ourselves, because you can't really save the world, right? You're only one person, but you could at least try to save yourself, your family. But you can't do that if you're complacent in a wicked world, or complicit in a wicked world, because all of us are going to have to suffer for the consequences of all. There are um, a lot of things that we need to consider going forward. A lot of things. I could name solutions until I turn blue in the face. And it's not that I won't name solutions. I have no problem naming solutions. It's just when you name solutions, it's like no one wants to hear them. No one wants to listen. Nobody wants to accept what's really happening. And no one wants to tell the truth. There are only a few people that actually want to tell the truth. Just a few. Most of us want to fight, but what is fighting going to accomplish when you haven't solved the problem? I can see if you went to war and you wiped out the wicked in a big fight against righteous against evil. That's a fight. I could see that. I understand that. But you're just fighting so you feel better and you feel like, you know, you can keep your dignity and respect. But what does that do to help the world at the end of the day? It doesn't. That's not saving yourself. That's saving your pride. That's foolishness. Saving yourself would actually be like something like changing your behavior so that you can do better and do good for yourself, thereby impacting the lives of others, right? Whether they change their perspective on you or not doesn't even matter. What matters is that you are doing your part. What matters is that you're doing the right thing for you and yours. And you don't have to do low down immoral things just to survive, just to eat, to make it another day. That's what saving yourself looks like. To save the world, everyone has to be willing to save themselves and their families. So, anyways, um, I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream because I got to get up and I will be talking to everyone later. I hope you enjoyed it. Good night.